Friends, it's David D. This is PRM, and we have a poll to go over right here. This is the Monmouth poll for the state of Iowa. It is a Democratic caucus poll that was taken on the dates of November 7th through the 11th. There is a margin of error of 4.6%, and the results are as follows. We'll start at the bottom. They did the top, well, 6, 7, 8. Top 8, but there's a three-way tie with Kamala Harris, Tom Steyer, and Andrew Yang polling at 3%. Okay, so they're sitting in the margin of error. Like I said, it's 4.6%. I don't know how good that is. This doesn't sound good. I thought Andrew Yang would be doing better than he is. I mean, he's been doing incrementally better, but it feels like it's just like it's slowing down to a crawl. I think if Andrew Yang isn't near 10% at the end of December, he's going to get out. That's just my prediction. What's your prediction? I want to know. Leave it down in the comments. Just because it's like you're going to run a campaign, you have a solid, fan base, you have a solid donor base, but if you're not getting the poll numbers, there's going to be a case being made with these poll numbers to get out of the race if they're not going anywhere. But we'll see the future. So Harris, Steyer, and Yang tied at 3%. Moving on, 5th place here, Amy Klobuchar, 5%. So that looks like a little bump there for Amy. She got a couple of incremental bumps in a few polls I've seen, so look out. All right, number 4, Bernie Sanders, 13%. That seems kind of low for Bernie. All polling data that has Bernie in it isn't accurate for this main reason. Bernie garners votes from people who don't vote. Okay? So when they poll these people, these are voters. Okay? These are people who have voted in the past and they're going to vote in the future. They do not factor in people, the 100 million or so people who didn't vote in the last election. They're not in these numbers. So it's always something to think about going forward. You can apply this to a lot of candidates, especially populist progressive candidates, because people want to see these candidates in the race and they simply don't vote. And when they don't vote in the last election, they're not counted in the next election's polling data, hence right now. So Bernie at 13% in 4th place, it looks abysmal, but a lot of his other poll numbers are not that bad at all. So just something to think about. All right, 3rd place, Elizabeth Warren, 18%. That sounds about normal. Joe Biden, 2nd place, 19%. Sounds about average. Nothing new there. This is it. Number 1, Pete Buttigieg, 22%. Where did this guy come from in this poll? Because I've been reading other Monmouth polls. There was a poll on Democratic candidate preferences. He came in 4th place. There was another Monmouth poll about electability ratings. He came in 5th place. But in this poll, Pete is gold medal at 22%. Numbers really they're not adding up. Like when you compare other polls in Iowa, Pete's like in 4th and 5th in all of them, if not most of them, if not all of them. So something doesn't feel right here. Part of me says that people are bailing on Joe Biden, and they see Pete Buttigieg as like basically young Biden, like total centrist guy who's he's like Republican light centrist, uber pragmatic. Doesn't really have any commitments to either side, just holding down the middle ground and keeping it vague, but keeping it nice, keeping it pretty, keeping the philosophy going, the centrist jargon going. A lot of the country loves that stuff. They just like someone who's pleasant. They want somebody who isn't going to rock the boat. It's like... Anyways, I don't think this is representative truly where Pete is at, but he did get number 1 in this poll. So we'll take it, right? Another thing about the state of Iowa, Iowa and New Hampshire, we have to change this model, this caucus model, where it's Iowa and New Hampshire, and then they set the tone, they set the standard. They set this way back in the middle 1970s, okay? Demographics have changed. Things have changed. Populations have changed. I'm not so sure I'm betting on that Iowa and New Hampshire are the same as they were back in the mid-1970s. Okay, the country has changed. We know demographics have changed. So that has to offer up the question, are these states accurate like they claim they are? That, oh, well, in Iowa, sets the template for how voters are going to act across the country. New Hampshire, same thing. I'm willing to bet it's not, and it needs to be changed. And Elizabeth Warren was pressed on this by Amy Goodman, and Elizabeth Warren just like, oh, I'm just a player in the game. I have no, You know why? She's big with white voters, just like Pete Buttigieg is. Pete Buttigieg has no black supporters. Something else to note. So, yeah, these states, Iowa and New Hampshire, this model of caucus states has to change. They just don't represent the population by and large anymore. But anyway, what are your thoughts about this poll? I'll leave it down in the comments below. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and click the bell, and I'll talk to you soon.